Hello, Facebook, and welcome to episode 6 of our Summer Wellness series. We are sad and excited to be here as we've spent the whole summer together covering everything from yoga to self-care to habits of mind. Today, we are going to cover stress for teachers, so stress reduction, and how to combat these long periods of stress or short-term stress that you might experience throughout the school year. Before we start, be sure to tag your friends in the comments if you think they might also benefit from this video, and stay tuned until the end where we are going to share our 20% off coupon code that you can use through the end of this month. So, what are the different types of stress? There are 3 main types that I want to go over today and how to kind of work through them as you notice them. So the first one is acute stress. Acute stress is the most common form of stress that you might experience, and as human beings we all kind of experience this acute stress that pops up frequently. Not frequently, but let's say at the beginning of every school year. So this is when we're worried about the immediate past or the near future and what might happen or what did happen. It doesn't happen often, but we know like when we're in a high period of stress over something specific. The next type of stress is episodic acute stress. So this is when it's happening more frequently, maybe on a weekly or monthly basis where you're worried about something recurring. So it's not just like one-off every few months, but it's happening a little more often, and it's resulting in some psychological stress and headaches, upset stomachs, stuff like that is when you're having more frequent stress. The third form of stress is chronic stress. So chronic stress is when you see no end in sight. There's not really a resolve for what you're going through, and it's really hard to see an end, and you kind of don't have hope of what's to come. It's just a constant chronic thing in your mind that's really bothering you. So we've got acute stress, which is the most common form of stress, episodic acute stress, which is a little more frequent, a little more strenuous, and then there's chronic stress. So regardless of which level of stress you experience on an often basis, there are ways to combat this and ways to start to feel better and notice when you are stressing. So some ways to know when you're really going through a stressful period is to pay attention to yourself. So working on that self-awareness physically and mentally will help you understand when you're stressed or not. So maybe you're noticing increased moodiness or irritability. That could be a sign of stress. Maybe you're having some minor illnesses pop up or loss of appetite. If you're experiencing some weight gain or weight loss, that's a pretty good indicator that you're going through a high period of stress and all you can think about is that stressful thing. There's also tiredness. So if you find yourself very tired throughout the day, or if you're really, really tired and then when you go to bed you're wide awake because you've got all this stuff running through your mind, that could be a sign of stress as well. There's also hypersensitivity. So if you're reacting kind of harshly or irrationally to minor things and you don't really know why, but like something's triggering you, that could also be a sign of stress. There's lack of concentration and forgetfulness, disorganization. So if you can't seem to wrap your mind around your lesson plans or your weekly plans for your classroom, that could be a sign of something bigger stressing you out. There's also anxiety and worrying. So if you're anxious a lot or you're worrying a lot about something, it could be due to something that's really stressing you out. So we've got a lot of different ways to see how we might be getting stressed out. If you're moody, irritable, if you're noticing that maybe it's not even you, maybe one of your peers or colleagues are feeling any of these symptoms and you know of a way you can help them, it's very important to stay mindful of this stuff so that you yourself can feel better and your colleagues or your students can also feel better. So remember, it's moodiness and irritability, it's minor illnesses, changes in appetites or weight fluctuation, tiredness, hypersensitivity, lack of concentration, disorganization, forgetfulness, anxiety and worrying, and then also if there's like a lot of pessimistic thinking or talking happening, that could be a sign of stress as well. So it might not even be that you're tired, but you're constantly just not seeing the positive in something, or something minor turns into something very major. There's a lot of different ways to recognize stress and know that those are just symptoms of stress, that these can be combated and these can be reduced. So once you notice one or two of the symptoms that you might have, then there are ways that you can go into reducing your stress, noticing it, and minimizing it. So we've got some ways to do that. We've got, let's see, about 4 different things you can try, which they're all very helpful. There are also a lot of really good techniques in our previous videos that we've covered as well. So once you check this one out, be sure to watch the other ones and work them all together for a great self-care plan. The first tactic would be focused breathing. So we've gone over this a few times, but what I want you to think when you're feeling stressed or you notice one of these symptoms and you really need some sort of relief, just come to a seated position. You can be in a chair, you can be sitting on the floor, whatever's most comfortable for you, and find a flat back, so don't slouch over. Bring your head toward the ceiling, not necessarily like pulling yourself up, but just like lifting your head up will help you find a flat back. And you can bring your hands to your thighs, palms up or down, and just get centered here, grounded. Let all of the other worries start to fade away. This is really difficult, I understand. But you can come to just a counting breath meditation. So wherever you are, you can take an inhale and an exhale through your mouth or your nose, whatever is most comfortable for you, and say 1 in your head. So you'll do this to 10. So you'll inhale and exhale, and that's 2. So you'll count all the way up to 10 in your head with your inhales and exhales, and then you'll come back down 10 to 1. Once you're finished with this, check in with yourself and see if you feel a little more grounded, a little more centered, and if not, you can just do it again. So it might not fix everything all at once, but you can come back to this and count up and count down with your breath until you find some relief. And if this doesn't work for you, or you're not in a place where this could work, maybe you spend your mornings or evenings meditating. So meditation comes in a lot of different forms, but for this one, we're going to think about a really present awareness body scan meditation. So maybe you start with your breath and you do a few counts of 1 to 5, and then you just start to close your eyes or look down maybe at a candle in front of you. A lot of people like to light just a candle in front of them to focus on the flame and really get centered on where they are. Or maybe just gaze at about 8 inches in front of you. Whatever you'd like, you can come seated, flat back, close your eyes or set your gaze at one spot, and just start to notice where your body is in space. So you can start with your feet here. Feel where your feet are on the ground. Maybe if you're sitting, your feet are on the ground and you can feel the ground beneath you. And just notice what's touching what. So feet on ground, maybe thighs on a chair, or you're sitting on the ground and you can feel your feet on the backs of your thighs. Start to notice where your body is in space and just know that these are my feet, these are my calves, these are my legs. And as you're sitting here focused, breathing, all you have to worry about is body awareness. So what do your feet feel like? Are they cold? Are they hot? Are you antsy? Whatever you're feeling, just notice it and keep working through your entire body here. So let your attention work from your feet all the way up through your core, your shoulders, your arms, and your head, and just notice whatever's coming up for you. So maybe it's really hard and you're frustrated and you wonder if you're even doing this right. That's normal. That is totally normal. What you want to do here is just stay focused on your body in space right now. So as you do your body scan, you can start to notice whatever it is coming up for you. And maybe it's the issue at hand or the thing that's really causing you a lot of stress. Whatever it is, notice it and keep breathing and keep scanning. So do this until you feel better. I know that's kind of hard to gauge, so maybe beforehand, before you start, you sit down and you think, how do I feel? I feel really stressed, I've got tension in my neck, I don't have time for this, whatever the things are, and then sit down and do it, maybe just for 5 minutes, and then afterward, ask yourself, how do I feel now? Do I feel just a little bit better? Just 1 degree better is better than what it was. So ask yourself before and after how you feel and what might be going on for you. Our third practice for stress reduction is exercise. So we covered exercise and kind of fitting fitness into your daily routine in our third video, which you can find on our Facebook page. But basically what this means is finding something physically active that brings you joy. So don't think of this tactic as, if I go to the gym for an hour, my stress will be gone, because that likely won't be the case. Maybe it is, but if you don't have an hour to spare, that could add more stress to your day by trying to get that chunk of time penciled in. So for this one, instead of trying to pencil in your exercise to your day or make it happen or just do a type of exercise that you think you should do to feel better, think about what would bring you joy and do that one for 5, 10, 20 minutes, whatever time frame that you actually have that won't cause you stress, and do that. So maybe it's taking your dog for a walk, that's exercise. Maybe it's dancing around in your kitchen. Maybe you really like to do yoga at home or in a class, or you just do a video online. Wherever that might be, find a reasonable time frame and then an activity that brings you joy, and just make the time for that, but don't try to overreach. So only go as far as you're willing to go that day. You don't have to do something for an hour to feel better. It might just mean 5 minutes of movement could really reduce your stress. So that was focused breathing, meditation, exercise, and then we've also got gratitude. So we've talked a lot about gratitude this summer, a lot about journaling, a lot about just really expressing how we feel and working through where we are right now. So this is one of my favorite strategies, as always, that I've shared with you all, that it's proven to reduce your blood pressure, improve your immune function, and facilitate more efficient sleep. So there are scientific benefits of expressing gratitude, and I think that's really cool because, of course, we want proof that it works. And there are a few ways to do this. So you can either grab a journal or just have like a gratitude buddy, which sounds maybe silly, but also really beneficial. But if you have a friend or a partner or a family member who's also trying to reduce stress and see more positively, you could partner up and just share your gratitude with each other every day. So if you want to go this route, maybe you just pencil in like a text message every day with your best friend where you both share 3 things that you're grateful for that day. That could be your gratitude practice. And it doesn't have to be like, you don't have to run 5 miles, or you don't have to, like, there doesn't have to be a big thing that you're grateful for. It could just be, I'm grateful for my home. I'm grateful for water. I'm grateful for the food that I ate today. Whatever, it can be really, really simple. But if you're genuinely grateful for the things, then eventually they'll accumulate and you'll start to find more positive mindset and thinking in your life. So you can share with a friend or a partner, or you could do journaling. So sitting down every day at night, you could just say, what are 3 things I'm grateful for? And then you write them down. Maybe they're just words, or they can be sentences or paragraphs. Whatever happened that day, just the 3 things that come to mind. And if it takes you a second, that's totally fine. Sometimes we've got tougher days to go through, but seeing the positive stuff that you're grateful for in the stressful days or the more complicated days can really help shed some light on how good that day actually was. So you can either share with a friend or journal, whichever one works for you, but I encourage this one to be a daily practice. And maybe every other day you do the texting method with your friend, and then you do the journaling. It doesn't always start out every day and stay consistent every day because stress and life and busyness. So if you miss a day, it's totally fine. Don't worry about it. And just know that you can come back to your practice whenever you forget or you fall off. It's not a big deal. So focused breathing, meditation, exercise, gratitude. And then our 5th one, which is a creative outlet for reducing stress would be play. So really think about what you find playful in your life. So this isn't the exercise that has a fitness goal or like an end goal to it, but just thinking about play as a whole. So I think a fun example of this one is like the lava floor game. Like you have to like step on cushions and whatever it is to like not touch the lava floor if you played that as a kid. It's actually a lot of fun even as an adult. But if you think of stuff like that, that's play. There's not really an end goal, there's just like one rule. So maybe you think of your play as, okay, it's got one rule. When you're taking a walk, like don't step on the cracks in the sidewalk. Or they all sound funny because they're playful and they free us from the stress and the weight of having an objective all the time. So whatever your one objective rule is of like don't step on the crack or the floor is lava or whatever it is, you pick a playful thing and you can either do it alone or with friends or kids or family, whatever it is. This one might be fun with your students on a break because honestly, we all need a little play and a little laughter throughout the more serious parts of our days. So play, if you don't really know how to or are comfortable with playing the floor as lava because like you have other things to do and you're busy, what I do is I have a hula hoop at my house. It like sits against my wall in the living room, and whenever I walk by it, I'm like, oh, and I grab it and I just like hula hoop for like a minute. I don't like hula hoop all the time, but whenever I see it, it's like shiny pink and gold, and it like makes me smile, so then I grab it and I like hula hoop for a second. And I'm like, okay, I feel better. Like maybe I needed to hula hoop for just a minute. So finding like fun toys or like props, maybe not toys, but to sit around your house or just have near you could help you add more play to your day without saying, well, now I have to pretend like the floor is lava, and like I don't have time for that. So maybe there's like a fun thing that you used to play with when you were a kid, and like you bring that back into your house and you play with it. So those are the 5 strategies for stress reduction. There are many more. There are so many different ways that you can find your grounding and relief in whatever is stressing you out. Know that stress doesn't go away, because as human beings, like we have stress as a part of being alive, which it's not a bad thing. It's knowing that when the stress comes, noticing it and then knowing how to like combat it or reduce it, or notice that it's a part of life and that it doesn't have to weigh you down and turn into chronic stress. So those are all of our techniques we've got. We're open for some Q&A, so I'll pop over here and see. Claire wants to know, of the techniques you've listed, which do you think would be the best practice if teachers don't have much time before first period or planning periods? So that's an interesting question because all of these can kind of be done in any amount of time. Maybe not the exercise. Exercise might take like a chunk of time depending on what you're doing. But if you want to take like 3 deep breaths, like maybe that's all you do. It's like an inhale, exhale. One way that you could do that is like a 4 count. So maybe you inhale like 1, 2, 3, 4, you pause, and then you exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. So I like that 4 count breath when I don't have a lot of time. I just do it like 3 times, and then I start to feel a little more grounded. Meditation as well. That could be as simple as just like closing your eyes for just a moment and like closing off whatever you're seeing and thinking about and just closing your eyes. It doesn't even have to be like meditation as you know it traditionally. It could be like mindful walking, could be like walking meditation. So maybe in your planning period you walk to the teacher's lounge to make your lunch and you notice and you're very aware. So like you turn off your thoughts and you're like, new bulletin board, new sign, oh, like the floors look very nice or whatever. Like you start to notice. So you can make like a walking meditation, an awareness practice that could also make you like let go of the thoughts going through your head. Exercise, I mean, hop back over to our fitness video, but like you could like lunge to the restroom. You could do some squats, like just stand up and down from your chair real quick in between your classes. There's a bunch of different ways that you could like do this stuff in like really tiny doses so that you don't really notice you're doing it and you're not like penciling 30 minutes in for something that is causing more stress because you want to like add the fitness so you feel better and all of that stuff. Gratitude, again, if you just do like one word gratitude, it could just be like super quick, like water, coffee, muffin, or whatever. And like that's super quick. The play, again, could be super quick or could take a lot of time. So wherever you are in your day, notice, okay, I have 4 minutes in this passing period. I'm going to take 3 breaths, and that's all. And like that's super great. All you have to do is notice, like, what do I have right here and what do I need? So I'm stressed, I have 4 minutes, and I need breath. Like I really need to breathe. And you're not really going to know that when you first start. You're going to think, I should breathe. I should really breathe because I should feel better. But if you sit back and you think, like, what do I want to make me feel better? How do I want to feel? Then you start to change that dialogue of, I should breathe because it's good for me, or I should exercise because it's good for me. But instead it's, I'm stressed. What do I want to make me feel better? What do I know will make me feel better and I'm willing to do? So switching up that dialogue, regardless if you have 2 minutes or an hour, can really help guide you in making decisions that kind of feel better and not so forced. So I think that's all we have for today. This was our last episode. I thank you all so much for tuning in with us. If you want to watch any of the 6 videos, we've got yoga for teachers, we've got mindfulness, which covers a lot of this meditation and thought type mindset stuff. We've got fitness for teachers that are really quick ways to like add squats and lunges and push-ups to your day without going to the gym. There's self-care, which covers some like at-home remedies for like soaking your feet instead of like going to get a massage. And then Habits of Mind was a really cool episode that we did that covers a lot of the thinking stuff. So our thought patterns and our mental habits. That one is a really cool one to dive into, and it's just a cursory level of all of the stuff that we cover in our deeper courses at Advancement Courses. So you can check those out on the Facebook page under videos. They're all there, they'll be there forever, so we hope you enjoy them and come back to them whenever you need. And for being with us this summer, we have a coupon code for you that is 20% off any of the courses, and it is FBLive20. So that's FBLIVE20. You can use that now through August 31st. So it will expire in September. You've got about 2 more weeks to use it. Check out the courses, see which ones you don't have or which ones you're really interested in, and grab the one you want. We hope to hear how they're going for you. Let us know if you have any questions, and we will see you all later. Thank you.